we were thinking about applying for this children's grant, nurturing children through worship and prayer. For years, we've been thinking about this specifically focused on teenagers and emerging adults. And we wanted to expand that audience, in part because of research that we were reading that young people are disengaging from the church. We're also musicians and we're in a school of the arts. So thinking about that through the lens of music was a really natural connection.
So we were having this brainstorming session and trying to figure out, how can we use the gifts kind of embedded within the School of the Arts? How can we kind of continue the legacy of the center? And how can we engage new audiences, kind of leaning into even younger ages to equip them for faithful and artistic worship? And so we thought, we've got the resources here. We have the expertise among our faculty. We have beautiful facilities. We're like, what if we did a live album recording? And one thing that's really missing, we have a lot of things that we can sing on Sunday morning really well, but not everything is always theologically accessible to children, and there's some themes we need to emphasize more. And then what's really missing, I feel, is that what are we singing? We sing a lot of things on Sunday. What are we singing as in our families, like Monday through Saturday? And that was really the heart behind the project. How do we mark those ordinary moments in family life, school drop-off, or
New table blessings. When you have an argument with a sibling.
Yeah, how do we mark those moments? And we're like, oh, it's almost like the book's Every Moment Holy. And then as we started connecting with our friends at Anchor Hymns, we realized they had connections with Every Moment Holy, and it became this just really organic partnership between us at the CWA, between Anchor Hymns, and then with the beautiful liturgies written by Doug McKelvey at Every Moment Holy.
We were looking for musical partners to help get this project going, make it successful, make it artistic.
We had some other connections with Andrew. So I get on the Zoom call with Andrew and we're talking about our vision for this project. And I was like, we wish we could work with someone like a songwriting collective like Anchor Hymns. Have you heard of it?
He's like the founding director.
He founded it. So he's like, have I heard of it? Yes. Yeah, I think I know a guy.
He truly seems to know everyone, and he was really able to bring together a great group of diverse artists. We were able to participate in different parts of all the songwriting camps that he helped put together to produce this original album of songs, and just really impressive, the collective that he was able to bring together to make the project go.
So as we were thinking about what kind of songs are we writing, we thought about those gaps in family life where, man, we could really use a song right now to kind of mark this moment. When we introduced that third partner of Every Moment Holy, when we did the songwriting retreats, we actually used Doug's liturgies as a springboard for some of these songwriting prompts. So we had a liturgy, there was a kind of overall theme, like a kind of a moment to mark. So there was words from which to draw, there was a theme that kind of marked the occasion, and then obviously some scriptural anchors for these songs. And so we did it in Nashville in July, and then on campus here at Samford in September. And I think maybe 40 songs written. Obviously we couldn't keep them all, but God's been a part of every step of this, and it's been so cool to see. One of the things about planning an event where you're inviting families with children is you're always thinking about timing, like who's actually going to show up to a university campus with their children at 7:00 p.m. on a Tuesday night. We made all these preparations because we really do believe that children are full worshipers in the assembly of faith, and so we're like, okay, well, we want to make sure that we're being hospitable, and so we got these lovely fidget poppers. We got everyone earplugs just in case if anyone's struggling with kind of loudness or other sensory sensitivities. We got some kid-sized earmuffs. There were some Anchor Hymns drawing sheets. A lot of things that we were just thinking about in preparation for this. That was really heartening to see kind of the original vision for this kind of come alive.
This was an album presented for children and families, congregations focusing on nurturing children and their families. And having grown up in the church and around its music so much, when you think children's music in the church, sometimes it is a certain style, a certain aesthetic. There were super talented people thinking really deeply about the aesthetics and the artistic excellence of what we were putting together that night in the live album recording. there was also, along those lines of what we often think about with children, is what I would say is like ultimately a dumbed down theology, but like, children aren't ready for certain themes. Children, just need to focus on the stories, and they do, but we kind of sell them short, I think, sometimes, that they can't go deeper, that they can't think about or consider, some topics in the church and its theology. And again, throughout the night and in creating the album, there's just deep, rich thinking about, one of my favorite songs is We'll Live With Him Forever. And each stanza of that hymn is just so thoughtfully rich about presenting this idea of the kingdom, this really abstract idea that I confess could be really difficult for children to grasp. But the way that it's worded, it's like a truly deeper understanding of the kingdom that's totally appropriate for kids, but so thoughtfully rich for adults as well. And so I think kind of thinking through what we often expect for children musically, theologically, in their kind of spiritual and liturgical formation, we sell them short. And there were a lot of people trying to aim to do differently with this project.
Sanford has one of the most beautiful campuses.
We do.
And let me tell you, we tried to use it for these 2 albums.
Yeah.
I realize we've been saying album, but it's really
Multiple
2
albums. Yeah.
Like we did the live recording here in beautiful Reed Chapel, and then we're doing an acoustic album which we recorded live on the stage of the Wright Center. We used beautiful Sanford facilities, and then we also used our
students.
Our students.
Yeah, the Sanford Worship Collective was featured in the recording. I loved that some of the artists from Anchor Hymns got to work with our students, record them. They kind of played the role of worship choir in the service and in the recording. And the takeaways from the students that I heard was really exciting, because we've just never really attempted a project like this at Sanford. I mean, I've been around for a while, having been a student here myself, and there's just never been a project like this happen at Sanford. So students were talking about, the recording process that happened, and having multiple videographers there throughout the event.
And student videographers,
yes,
too.
Including student videographers who also supported the recording. So students' hands are kind of on the project, both visibly in the recordings, but also kind of behind the scenes in a really exciting way.
So this June, we are starting our kind of trickle release of about 6 songs that are from the live recording. And then that will culminate, hopefully, in a November full album release. So all the songs on the live album recording. And then we'll fast forward to 2027. We're going to do a similar kind of process for the release of the acoustic album, which there's only one overlapping song. I think there's only one song that we've recorded in both modes. In January, we'll start trickle releasing even more songs for hopefully a May 2027 full album release.